Hello guys, Archangel here, and I want to talk a little bit about my first impressions with Star Wars Knights of the Fallen Empire. Since I did a little video about 1 week or 2 weeks ago talking a little bit about my thoughts on the expansion, I thought it was fair to do a little bit of a follow-up video talking about what I think about it now that I actually have played the game and have put some hours into it. If you wanna take a look at that video, there's an annotation right now on the screen that will take you directly to it. Now, before we begin, if you want to comment down below something that might be considered a spoiler, I advise you to put a little bit of a spoiler warning, give a couple of spaces so people have to click on read more to actually read your comment, just so we avoid spoilers, because this is a heavily story-based expansion. Now I must say, I totally enjoyed the expansion for as long as I've been playing it. I played it for the last 2 days. I beat basically the story, the chapters, in about 6 to 7 hours, and that's not counting the alliance stuff that comes up later, which I will talk a little bit more later on. But about the chapters, I've expressed this concern in my video where I talk about my thoughts on the expansion, about feeling that the chapters might not feel complete on their own, that you needed another chapter to kind of finish up the story. And I must say, personally, I didn't feel that. I feel like every chapter felt like an episode of a series, for example. It didn't wrap up everything, of course. It didn't wrap a whole story on just one chapter, but it felt complete on its own. It felt like it had a beginning, a middle, and end. So much like if someone asks me, well, what happens in chapter 3? And I can say totally, oh, chapter 3 is the one where you have to escape from X place. Oh, what happened in chapter 4? Well, chapter 4 is the one you are stuck in Y situation and you have to do Z objective. It comes to my mind, I still can remember. You have this problem and you finish it, and it feels like a chapter, like it should feel. Also, about the length of the chapters, I never thought they were going to be very long chapters, especially because BioWare is planning on releasing 1 chapter per month starting on early 2016. But I didn't feel annoyed by it. I thought they were all reasonably lengthy chapters, so that was fine by me. That wasn't an issue. Now, would I personally subscribe each and every month just to get a new chapter? I don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of people, especially who are willing to spend a lot of money on this, are going to maybe subscribe each 2 months, or maybe 3 months, or maybe 4 months, who are all that hurry to get to know the story. And that feels like a good deal, because you get all the chapters that were released before you subscribe to. But I still can feel like it's worth, if you have a lot, especially if you have a lot of outs, to get a new chapter, because you get a new chapter and you're doing 1 out and you can do a completely different choice with another out. And because one thing that I didn't say about these chapters, they still feel like you are playing the class that you are playing. It still feels like you're playing your character. I was afraid that when BioWare said, you are now the Outlander, that it was going to be another one of those title BioWare things, quote unquote, like in Mass Effect, like you have Commander, or Dragon Age Inquisition have the Inquisitor. It's a blank state. It's like, you are known as the Inquisitor, and I thought they were going to be like, you are the Outlander now, everything that you did before doesn't matter, you are just the Outlander. I didn't feel that. I felt like I was still the bounty hunter. I felt like I was still the grand champion of the Great Hunt, and that felt, and that reflected on the story. It felt like it didn't feel like it was a story for the Outlander. It felt like it was a story for my character, and that speaks a lot for my enjoyment of it. That is so important to get me to enjoy, and I'm really getting to nail that. I've also been enjoying a lot the variety of characters on this story. Seeing as I haven't done my class stories in a long while, or at least it's been a long while since the class stories are new to me, it's been fun to have to interact with the characters with a fucking personality to them, and not just interact again and again with Lana and Teron Shan. So that's been nice, that's been a lot of fun too. The characters are doing wonders to keep my investment and my enjoyment on the story, especially the ones that I don't quite have a feel what their intentions actually are. So that's keeping things interesting. I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about the chapters. If you couldn't tell, I really had a lot of fun with this storyline. I had a blast. I played for like 6-7 hours straight, man. I didn't do any flashpoints, didn't do any ops, didn't do any war zones. I was just on the story. It's been a long time since I actually got this hook on the BioWare story before. Or any story in any game for that matter. And the pacing of the chapters too, I didn't talk about that. The pacing is really, really good. It's intense. It didn't actually have a moment where no moment took too long to get over with, if you understand. You didn't stay at any part for a long while. The only part that I think it got dragged on a little bit too much was chapter 4. For those of you, without giving any spoilers, for those of you who have played and know what I'm talking about, chapter 4, I think it dragged on a little bit over there, but the rest of the chapters were fluid, and that was really nice. But it doesn't end on chapters. After playing the chapters, you get, without giving any spoilers or too many spoilers, you get this sort of shitty Inquisition, if you will. You get this shitty alliance that you have to work with. And this alliance, apparently you can grow and make it flourish and make it grand and beautiful, but I haven't got to that yet. Like I said, I've been playing for 2 days. I don't know if it actually expands, if it actually has like a physical element you actually see this alliance flourish. But basically how you do that, how you make it greater, bigger, better, stronger, faster, and yada yada yada, is, for one, you have these 4 specialist guys who take care of your base, and basically each one of them takes care of one aspect of your alliance. So there's one guy who takes care of the underworld stuff, there's one guy who takes care of the force stuff, there's one guy who takes care of science and technology, and there's one guy who is basically the military guy, who takes care of the military stuff. And to get a sense of how shitty this alliance is, there's like it's an underground base, and there's like a central room, and then there's 4 side rooms, one for each of the guys, and the military guy has to share his room with the fucking hangar, and it's a tiny fucking hangar. It's not grand at all. So you need to earn influence with these guys, which is the new affection, to actually make them upgrade their stations. The other way of doing is through alerts that these same specialists may give you, or you may gain them from other people, like your companions. They basically send you to find more people for this alliance, and when you find these people, they actually join you back on the base, which is really nice. And most of these people are people that you have already met on one of the class stories, like a companion for whatever class, for like your Sith Inquisitor, even if you're playing like a bounty hunter. Which brings me to one of the things that I most enjoy in this expansion, is the feeling that the galaxy is connected, that the galaxy is alive. If you are making an alliance and you're looking for really smart people, it makes sense that Talos Drelic, your Sith Inquisitor companion, who is one of the best, if not the best, at archaeology and finding artifacts, it makes a lot of sense that you would want this guy in your team, right? Because of his abilities. And that totally happens, that totally is a thing. And that doesn't apply just to him, that's just a small example. That feeling comes through the expansion, throughout the expansion, especially because you find these new companions and you find that actually they've been doing stuff without you in your absence, and that's really nice. And you actually have to see some developments of old characters. But again, back to the alerts. I basically did all the alerts in basically 2 or 3 hours, I want to say, on top of the 6, 7 that I already had before. That's a lot of stuff for a new expansion, and I was was surprised and happy that when the chapters finish, you had these alerts that you still had to do, and many of the alerts you actually got to see old faces, like I did the example before of Talos, and that's really, really nice. The only alerts that I didn't finish all of them yet is the ones tied to the new Flashpoint, the new dungeon. Since we are talking about alerts, I've got to talk about the new classic conversation little thing that BioWare is doing. So BioWare basically tried to hide this, I think. Like, they didn't release information about this until the day the early access release. I think they thought it was going to be controversial, that people wouldn't enjoy it, and you know what, they're probably right. I think that some people won't enjoy this at all. But anyway, the thing is, BioWare is bringing back the old style of doing conversation that we see in Dragon Age Origins and Quarter 1. And basically, for those of you who don't know, is your character has no voice. The character who you are speaking to has voice. And your character, when he responds, when he talks, he has this list of things that he can say. But it's not for everything. The story, the chapters, it still has that same old style, it still has your same old voice, don't worry. It's just for the alerts that is actually, that you actually have the classic conversations. Which is, I don't particularly are bothered too much by it, because I don't have anything against the classic conversation. Because I know this is a very divisive subject. I think that a lot of people really enjoy a protagonist that talks, and a lot of people really enjoy the protagonist that don't talk in RPGs and in BioWare games. I personally enjoy more the protagonist that doesn't talk, just on the fact that when a protagonist doesn't talk, it has more options for you to speak, to respond to, and that makes it easier to roleplay, to create a character better. But that's like my only thing. That's the only reason why I enjoy more a protagonist that doesn't talk. I still enjoy a lot. I think it's very immersive when your character actually is speaking and has a voice attached to it. But like I said, I think I should mention it at the very least. I know it's something that some people will be like, oh cool, some people will really not enjoy it. So there you go. The last thing I want to talk about is the new Flashpoint, the new dungeon that I didn't expect at all to release. I didn't even think that I think BioWare had straight up said there won't be any dungeons, flashpoints, war zones, operations on this expansion, and there you go, here it is. Like, it's deeply integrated on the story, it evolves a lot around the new story. It's deeply integrated on the new alert system. Again, everything feeling connected, just beautiful. And not much to say about it, other than that I really enjoy it. It feels like it has this RNG element to it. It feels a lot like Quad Drive Yards. Has a lot of achievements on it. And that's pretty much all I can tell about it. Anyway guys, I guess that's it. Those are my first impressions on the new expansion for the Old Republic. If you couldn't tell, I'm having a blast. I am probably going to be playing it for the next few days. And I guess that's it. Before I go, if you really enjoy the Old Republic era, if you really enjoy Star Wars, I actually started not too long ago a Let's Play of the original KOTOR. So if you want to understand a little bit more about the lore, it's totally newcomer friendly. I have played it before, but I don't remember much. So that's kind of a learning experience for me too. So we are going back in time and we are going through that. I remember some things, some big moments which I'm sure a lot of people can relate if they played that game, but I'm not giving any spoiler. Like I said, totally newcomer friendly. It would be absolutely lovely to have you there. So that's pretty much it. I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye bye guys!